Hello and welcome. My name is Islam Shaban and this is PC-based PLC programming using TwinCAT 3 tutorial. Are you an automation engineer who used to program a PLC, traditional PLC, and now is the time to learn more about PC-based PLC? Or even you are a software engineer who finds himself needing to work with PC-based PLC? Good! This is exactly where you wanted to be. This tutorial is good and sufficient starting point. It is not necessary to have a software background to start this tutorial. The programming language that we will use in this tutorial is structured text. It's one of the PLC programming languages according to the standard IEC 61131. The IEC 61131 standard, as most of you may already know, deals with the basic software architecture and programming languages of the control program within PLC. It defines 3 graphical and 2 textual programming languages: ladder diagram, function block diagram, instruction list, and this has been deprecated in 3rd edition of the standard sequential function chart, and this has elements to organize programs for sequential and parallel control processing. And finally, the structured text. Structured text is a language we're gonna use in the most of this tutorial, and if you did not use it before, do not worry. You will find a sufficient cover for this topic in the upcoming videos. PC-based PLC are becoming more popular nowadays as more and more applications start choosing PC-based PLC over the traditional PLC, as they can provide more high performance and flexibility compared to the traditional PLC by utilizing hardware capabilities of PCs. Imagine how extremely powerful the modern PCs are, and knowing that you can utilize them in industrial automation. That's amazing. Beckhoff is one of the founders of PC-based control, controlling machines using PC and dedicated control software, instead of conventional hardware, as any PC-based controlling system consists of PC hardware and control software. In our case here, the software is TwinCAT 3, which stands for the Windows Control and Automation Technology. The TwinCAT software system turns almost any PC-based system into a real-time control with multiple PLC, NC, CNC, and or robotics runtime system. There are so many things that can be done within software development using TwinCAT, but the scope of this tutorial covers 4 main topics. In Chapter 1, we're gonna discuss and elaborate on the basic required knowledge needed to use TwinCAT 3 to create useful PLC software. The main headlines within this topic are TwinCAT 3 installation and integration with Visual Studio, TwinCAT 3 philosophy, understanding how the TwinCAT works, and intro to the software interface. The real-time and TwinCAT 3 tasks configuration. This is an important step when starting to develop your code. How to use your PC as a PLC so you don't need to purchase an hardware to develop your code. Learning the structured text programming language, and last but not least, practical example to master what we did learn till this stage. We're gonna build an entire PLC code from scratch using factory I/O software as a simulation. And finally, Beckhoff PC-based PLC hardware configuration. In the second chapter, we're gonna learn object-oriented programming using structured text language, as the 3rd edition of the IEC 61131 standard supports the object-oriented programming concept. I'm not gonna dig deep into the object-oriented programming details itself. The object-oriented programming as a subject would require a separate tutorial, and there is a ton of tutorials on YouTube that perfectly cover the object-oriented in details. On the other hand, we will learn how to implement the object-oriented programming concept within PLC programming.
The main headlines within this topic are function blocks as a classes, method and properties, inheritance and method overriding, interfaces.
The third chapter is Introduction to C++ Programming in TwinCAD 3. Controlling your PLC using C++ is a very interesting topic. In this part, we're gonna learn how to implement and use C++ in the TwinCAD 3 environment. I'm assuming you have a sound knowledge of C++ before you starting in this part. If this is not the case, I encourage you to invest more time learning C++ basics before starting in this topic. As this topic less as C++ tutorial, but more it's learning how to implement C++ in PLC world.
The main headlines within this topic are BC and TwinCAD 3 preparation for C++. In order to use C++ within TwinCAD 3, you need to make some preparation to your PC and to TwinCAD as well. Hello World C++ program, creating our first C++ program. TwinCAD 3 modules, TMC files, and finally a simple example.
The fourth part is how to communicate with the PIC of PLC using the ADS protocol. In this part, we will build a simple C# desktop application that acts as a user-machine interface that gives the user the capability to communicate with the PLC. Alright then, charge your energy up and let's start.
TwinCAD 3 is already integrated with Visual Studio, so now everything related to configuration, writing code with all IEC 61131 standard or with C++, compiling, publishing, and doing version control could be done from single IDE. So first, if you don't have the Visual Studio in your PC, you need to download it and install it. You can download it from Microsoft website. You can find the link in the video description. You can use the 2019 version or even 2017 version as you wish. The three different versions of Visual Studio: Community, Professional, Enterprise. Community is a free version, so you can download it if you would like. Of course, you can use Professional and Enterprise with TwinCAD 3. It's very important to install your preferred Visual Studio first before installing TwinCAD 3, so the TwinCAD 3 will recognize the installed Visual Studio and start integrating with the installed version. If you already downloaded Visual Studio, then let's install it. That will take several minutes. In this window, Visual Studio asking you to select the workloads you wish to install. I'm gonna select the C++ and the .NET. You can modify these workloads and install more workload if you need any time later. Then the second step is to install the TwinCAD 3 itself. First, download the TwinCAD 3 software from the PIC of web page. You can find the link in the video description. If you already downloaded TwinCAD 3, let's install it. It will take few minutes. On this page, TwinCAD recognizes the Visual Studio version which is installed in your PC. And if you have multiple Visual Studio versions in your PC, like here, you can select your preferred version to integrate with TwinCAD. Also, activate the TwinCAD setting over the selected Visual Studio version from here, if you wish.